Yeah, so I had my family Christmas party Sunday, the 26th, and basically everyone there has like COVID now.
Oh
And
my gosh.
it's such a
That
shitty position to
sucks.
be in. It's such a shitty position because do you want to go see your family? You know what? You only like live on this planet for so long. Are you just gonna not leave the house? You want to see your family, but now everyone's suffering. Is it worth it? What do you do?
We
But
had
I
canceled a big COVID. We did the COVID Christmas. We had a big plink plan, and everybody didn't come over, and still got it. We still got it in the house. So,
Oh really? Might
oh
as well
yeah,
just
no,
gone.
it might as well have had everybody here. Yeah, I don't know why we didn't.
Yeah, Joe. Now, Joe, did you get the last thing I sent you like 15 minutes ago? Yeah. So, Jedi, have you seen this?
Yes. No, I
You've
have
seen it.
not.
So, if you take the words Delta, Omicron, and you change the letters around, it turns into media control. Like, what are the odds of that?
You're
Those are the
probably on to something.
That's a little
Yeah.
sus, dude. It's a little sus. But here's the thing. You know what? You have to assume, though, if something like that's true, then that every bad guy, like at the CDC, the WHO, like they're Bond villains. Like they're the
Yeah.
type that are like, we'll name it Omicron and Delta. They'll never know. It's media control, right?
Yeah. Right. And the people that figure that stuff out, it's unreal. Someone's figuring that stuff out. But what's interesting about tonight's podcast is when I decided that I wanted to start a conspiracy podcast, you have like the usual suspects. You know you're going to do the Mandela effect. You know you're going to cover the Simpsons conspiracy about the time traveler. There's just a few that you know are going to be covered if you want to do a conspiracy podcast. And Joe, you know who did this one the best, right?
No.
Pat McAfee.
Oh
Yeah.
Okay, right on.
So
Yep.
Jedi, Pat McAfee was a punter in the NFL, and punters don't make that much. And he just signed a ridiculous podcast. What is it, probably $100 million or so, Joe?
Whoa, Joe Rogan level?
Yeah, just about.
Wow.
So he's making more money podcasting than he was as an NFL punter.
Good for him.
I know. Yeah. So I say we get into this episode. This is gonna be a fun one.
All right. What's up, Marks? It's back to Conspiracies and Beyond. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas holiday. And for this week's podcast, we thought it would be great and interesting to recap the last decade and what life has been like so far about all the conspiracies that have touched our lives, specifically those that have come true according to the all-knowing The Simpsons. What do you think about that, Todd?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a fun one, and this is another one that's going to be. Check us out on YouTube because there's going to be lots of pictures and videos to watch.
And now for Beyond with Jetai and Todd.
Did you watch Simpsons a lot? You know?
Oh my God. So it's funny, Jedi, what is it in like its 35th year or whatever it is?
Yes.
I have an 18-year-old who's obsessed with The Simpsons, and I just was explaining to her like a couple of days ago, and I didn't know we were doing this because I'd never find out until literally day of. I was telling her how it spawned from the Tracy Ullman show. It became more popular than the Tracy Ullman show. This weird yellow family and how it just, I used to watch it every weekend. I watched like the first 15 seasons. I figured it was coming to an end, and that was like 20 years ago.
And Tracy Ullman, she was pretty hot about its success too, right? She thought that she should get a cut. She actually sued them, right? And lost, unfortunately. But
that was a bummer.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember seeing this weird cartoon with yellow people, and I was like, I didn't really like the animation, apparently they just, rough drafted it and the artist just went with it. So, and that's what they got, the animation that they have now. But I mean, for the predictions that they've done, they were pretty spot on.
Yeah, so early on they creeped me out. The first season when it was on, remember he talked kind of weird, Homer did, and it was like you said, a little bit more crude drawing. But yeah, somehow Jedi. I mean, the show, first of all, is a national treasure. I feel like The Simpsons, but as you just said, their ability to predict things extremely accurately is haunting.
Right. I mean, the creator, it was created by Matt Groening, and he actually named the characters after his own family members. So, I mean, I thought that was funny too, that, these people actually exist, so to speak,
I would love to meet the real Homer. Yeah.
I know. Right? I mean, since then, since its first show in 1989, there've been over 700 episodes, over 32 seasons and counting, and even a movie about it.
I've not seen the movie.
I haven't either. But it is the longest running American sitcom and animated program.
I used to be a Simpsons fan way back when it first started. And I think when South Park came out, that's when I kind of ditched the Simpsons because South Park was so edgy and it was so much funnier to me.
I feel like a lot of America did the same thing. It seemed like the Simpsons were like their 15th year. Like it had to be coming to an end eventually.
Yeah, not still going right now.
Right? And still nailing it with predictions.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, some of these predictions are crazy. And Jedi, so this is the start of season 2, by the way.
Right.
And we've been talking. We think we want to add some crime because we're into crime as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I'm really into crime and serial killers, and I think it would be interesting.
Yeah, me too. So I say we get right into these predictions that they made. And you can go two ways with this. I think you can say this is just crazy how they have predicted so many things. Or you can just think in 700 episodes, they're going to predict a bunch of stuff. It's just the way it works. So let's just get into how crazy some of these are. So let's go to Siegfried and Roy, or Gunther and Ernst. Season 5, episode 10. You want to tell us about that, Jedi?
Yeah, I mean, it was predicted back in 1993, but it happened in 2003. I mean, isn't that something? It's the episode where in Springfield they finally legalized gambling, and Mr. Burns opens a casino where German magicians Gunther and Ernest perform a routine similar to the Siegfried and Roy bit, but instead of doing the routine smoothly, the tiger remembers how they stole him from his natural habitat and then attacks them.
So let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that clip.
Yeah.
Hey Tiger, wach auf!
And going back to last week, Joe, that's one of those retarded tigers.
I was gonna say, dude, yeah, it's a weirdo inbred tiger. And Jed, I don't know about you, but when I see a tiger attack its trainer, I'm like, go tiger.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, to think that you could tame an animal and take them out of their natural habitat and not expect them to attack. I mean,
you were attacked by a wild animal,
right?
Like taken out of its home. That's weird,
right?
Yeah. This is one of the ones where I don't think it's that wild of a prediction.
That was bound to happen.
Yeah, I know.
Enough.
What about you, Jedi? You agree with that?
Yeah, but I've always wanted to go to the Siegfried and Roy show. I mean, just to see the tigers, up close. But I mean, back in 2003, the Simpsons, I mean, they predicted what happened. The tiger jumped up and I guess, bit Roy.
Right.
But they said that the tiger was reacting because Roy was having a heart attack.
Or stroke or something. Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, and so
It's
he was trying to save him, I guess, but I mean, he ended up puncturing his neck
yeah.
and arteries.
That tiger was like, listen, I gotta help. And I don't know
Right.
anything else other than biting necks. So
Yeah.
I
I'll just do
know,
that.
right?
Jo-
Yeah.
Joe, I have two things I want to mention about last week's episode with the animals. So you know how we talk about, say, like the alligator is 3,700 pounds per square inch, but you know those are just like numbers.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no one really thinks about it. And when you say speed, 30 miles an hour, people are like, oh, that sounds fast. But someone said the other day that the gorilla, so they're running their knuckles, right?
Yep.
And I can't get this out of my head. They said he runs faster than Usain Bolt.
Oh my god.
Like, can you picture that gorilla running next to Usain Bolt? It's like literally faster.
And yeah, well, it's crazy. It really is, man.
I know.
Animals are like, you know what it is? We got soft.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I imagine prehistoric humans, I bet you we could have like done some damage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Not anymore. Now we're all soft.
That's
Oh, and this-
those participation trophies.
Yeah, I know. So let's head over to Lady Gaga. That was season 23, episode 22. Jetai, you want to tell us about this one?
Back in 2012, The Simpsons predicted that Lady Gaga, in their episode Lisa Goes Gaga, that she was going to perform at the Super Bowl. But I don't think this was an accurate prediction since it actually happened in 2017, because The Simpsons episode that wasn't really at the Super Bowl, but it had her flying around on a trapeze.
Oh, the Lady Gaga on The Simpsons, that had nothing to do with the Super Bowl, but
Right. And then they were just spoofing a prior event that Lady Gaga did, I guess.
yeah, definitely head over to YouTube because we have a graphic on every one. It is still kind of weird though because she's hanging.
Yeah. Dude, is it possible Lady Gaga's people saw this episode of The Simpsons and designed her outfit based on that?
Yes.
It is strikingly similar.
Yes, I would
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah, there are a few things like this where people could have seen it on The Simpsons and then decided to do it. That's I'm not too sure what I think about that one. What do you think, Jetai?
No, I think they just, redid something that they knew was going to be popular.
Let's go to season 6, episode 8. This is the Eat Up Martha. Do you know that one, Joe? What
No,
this
I
is-
don't know that one.
I love this one. This is
Yeah.
absolutely hilarious.
J-
This is right autocorrect.
Autocorrect.
Take off. Take a memo on your Newton. Beat up Martin. Bah!
So he writes and beat up Martin, and it autocorrects to eat up Martha. And you know what's funny? They also predicted that people would get annoyed by that stuff when that happened.
Yeah.
And that's another one. Did Apple see something like that because it was on the Newton, or did Apple give them that information that it was coming? Because there's over 100 writers on The Simpsons, and they're all geniuses. You know what I mean? They probably all have different things that they're good at. I mean, some probably know about phones, some know about math.
A lot of them went to Harvard.
Yeah.
And I mean, they have degrees in physics, mathematics.
Yeah, out of the 3 we've
Nerds.
covered so far, yeah, that's the one that's a little odd to me, the autocorrect, because that's not really something that you'd even really think about.
I know,
Unlo-
right?
I know. Unlike the next one. So we have season 6, episode 19, FaceTime, when Lisa's talking to Marge. I mean, I think probably 30 years ago we knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, the
Well,
Jetsons.
yeah.
The Jetsons nailed this a long time ago,
Mm.
like in the 70s.
And
Yeah,
James Bond.
Yeah, right. I remember being a kid thinking there's going to be a time where you can talk over the phone and see each other. So that one is really, I don't think that's anything. Do you?
And
Jay?
now that we have it, I absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
How much do you hate when somebody FaceTimes you without
Yeah.
without express written consent? You just get a FaceTime. You're like, no,
Right.
absolutely not.
Have you ever gotten a phone call and in the middle of the call they change it to a FaceTime?
That's super
Oh
creepy. I didn't know
no.
you could
Yeah,
even
I
do
don't
that.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was on the phone the other day and all of a sudden the guy, he was trying to show me his crypto mining machines and we were just talking. He's telling me about it. He's like, yeah, I stack them on top of each other. And all of a sudden I look and like my phone's ringing. I'm like, why is my phone ringing? And it was him changing it to FaceTime.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
And
you
you're
can't
not
do you,
ready. You're not
you gotta
ready. You
you
know?
gotta ask before you go to
Yeah.
FaceTime like
Yeah, I
that.
know.
Unless you're my kid. Yeah, I got a problem with that.
It's invasion of privacy.
Yeah. So that one I just threw in there to prove that some of them are just kind of stupid. So the Nobel Peace Prize, season 22, episode 1, when Milhouse predicts the winner in economics. And this was in 2010 and it happened in 2016. But the thing about this one is I think this is like, Joe, remember Susan Lucci, how she just kept not winning?
Yes. Yes.
So I think
a
it's
million
this-
percent.
This is the same type thing where like every year they thought this guy might win and then eventually he won it. So this is, and it was on a bingo card they had on the betting pool. We're showing that on the graphic.
This one's actually kind of hilarious. And yeah, you're exactly right. I just because we don't know who any of these names are of any of these people, like Jedi was just saying, you've got Harvard graduates who are into physics and chemistry and economics and literature and would know the
Yeah.
names of people who could eventually win.
Yeah.
I mean, if you know somebody that's working in some sort of research that could have,
Right.
yeah, the chances are pretty high. So I
It's
like
a
that
small
one. Though.
circle, right?
Yeah.
It's a
And the-
very small circle. They would know each other.
And the funniest thing about that one is they're sitting around like they're having like a pool. Who do you know that has like a betting pool for the Nobel Peace Prize? It's kind of funny.
Nerds.
So, all right, then we have season 25, episode 16, the FIFA corruption scandal. This is actually hilarious. This is the one where they're arresting the guy for the FIFA. But don't you think there's scandals in every single sport in the world right now, Joe?
Yes. Oh,
has
big
to
time.
be.
It constantly. I think anybody could have. Again, when it comes to sports, to make predictions of big scandals, that's definitely something that they fall prey tell to anyway.
Yeah, money is awful. If there's money involved, not many people will turn that down. FIFA, Jedi, you know that's soccer is the biggest sport in the world by far. I think we covered that. Yeah, we covered that. We covered that on some, I forget what episode, but we went over the top 10 sports. Soccer is obviously number one. So let's go to the smartwatch. That's a that's a Dick Tracy thing, isn't it, Joe? I think that's a smartwatch. Jedi, do you have this one?
Yeah, I mean, it was in episode Lisa's Wedding, and they predicted it back in 1995. The smartwatch actually came out at 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this scene that you're showing right now where Lisa's future husband is bending over, speaking into a strange device on his arm. It's half flip phone, half wristwatch. It's a good prediction.
I like that smartwatch on the right. That looks pretty cool. No, with all the apps and stuff, that looks pretty
right.
neat.
That's an Apple smartwatch, I believe.
The best thing, one of the good things about my job is every April we get a Fitbit. It's a smartwatch in the mail, and it's because we're walking all day to keep track of your miles. So it's like a $300 Fitbit, and if you meet your goal, which everyone does, at the end you get a $200 gift card to like anywhere. Could be Target, Amazon, and then you can get one for everyone in your household. So you get a free smartwatch every year. It's kind of like one of the things on our benefits.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So that one's another one where I'm not really buying the smartwatch as something they're predicting.
Because they would know about it, right? Because of their field that they're in and their expertise.
This next one, Jedi, I probably should save us for last because this is one I buy into 100% that something's not right here.
Okay.
9/11.
Oh.
So, Jedi, do you have the info on this one?
Yes, I do. 9/11. I mean, this is the episode where Bart Simpson is the episode is the city of New York versus Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
And this is actually a brochure that has the price of $9 for a bus tour. And you see in the background the two twin towers, and it says 9/11.
Yeah, so we have the graphic up. It looks like, what is that, Lisa holding up the, is it a bus pass or a brochure? What'd you say it was?
It's a brochure, and they predicted this in 1997. And we all know this happened in 2001.
Right. So then I'm sure people have seen this, but the 9 is in the middle, the next to the twin towers that looks like 11. And I was just, the thing about this is, this was what year? 93?
Yes, 1993. Oh, no, 97. Sorry, 1997.
I just feel like, even I'm from the Boston area. Joe's from Connecticut. Joe, would you think of the Twin Towers as like the most synonymous thing in New York? Because I would probably put like the Statue of Liberty there.
Well, yeah, that's interesting enough because, well, you could even argue that what Lisa's holding on the other side is the Empire State Building. On the other side of the 9, that could be the Empire State Building and the Twin Towers. But yeah, the 9/11, that's tough. That's tough to explain. That feels like, it definitely feels like more than coincidence.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll tell you what, in 97, people should understand this, we were very well aware of who Osama bin Laden was.
Right.
And the idea, at least amongst the FBI by 1990, I read a book by John Miller, from ABC reporter and FBI agent, who talked about how much they were tracking Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden from 95 on. So again, it's not like an attack would have been completely out of the realm of possibility, but to nail 9/11 is that's shady.
$9. It could have picked any number.
Any number.
I looked at
according to executive producer Bill Oakley, he said that they just picked the number 9.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw the average ticket was about $6 back then. So 9's not too far off, but they happened to pick 9, and they had to pick the Twin Towers. It had to be one in the middle, the other one's to the right. It just, a lot of things had to go right for that to be exact.
This is weird. I would count this as a prediction, eerie prediction.
Me too. So Jedi, we have the next one here. This is Joe's favorite, the Trump presidency.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, for the love of God, look at this. They're like, nailed it. They've got the tie and the suit and everything.
I know. That red power tie.
I'm telling you, if Melania would have been in this episode of The Simpsons on that escalator next to him, you would have a really hard time. Dude, even the roof looks the same. It is uncanny how much they nailed that. So,
Jedi, what do you have on this one?
That they predicted it back in 2000, like the picture says, and it happened in 2015, 2016, and but the thing is like Trump was always talking about running for president, even on Oprah back in the day. So I mean, how far-fetched was this? I don't know. What do you think?
that picture is unbelievable. I mean, the picture is the thing that gets me more than them predicting Trump, because Joe, even in the 2000s, he wasn't a Republican. Was he? What party was he going for?
He was probably so when he first talked about running for politics, he did talk about running as a Republican, only because I think he couldn't get into the Democratic Party. He was a big donor to the Clintons.
Yeah.
Really? Before they became before they became his arch enemies.
They're all friends, right?
Yeah, dude, they went to each other's weddings. Like, there was a lot of that shenanigans. Yeah, give me a break.
Even rappers and Snoop Dogg, right? They were all friends. They all wanted to be Donald Trump. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, so that picture, Joe, like you said, I didn't even notice the ceiling and everything. For people listening, they're going Trump's going down the escalator and it's matched up perfectly with the cartoon in 2000. Yeah, that's 3 in a row that are pretty sus.
But the funny thing about that episode is like it's in the episode Bart to the Future.
Right.
And it's Bart is shown his future self, I guess, in a dream, and he's an unsuccessful musician during his gig. While his sister is president of the United States, and she inherits budget problems right after Trump's presidency. So I mean, it's kind of
Yeah, I do think they were mocking Trump a little bit when they picked him to be the future president.
Right.
But again, dude, just to see that scene. Oh, I'm telling you, all you need is for him to start calling Mexicans rapists and murderers, and there's no way you could tell me that's a coincidence.
Yeah, I think that one's a little on.
Joe, you're right. I mean, the writer of that episode, Dan Graney, he said he's created this episode as a warning to America. So
message
yeah.
sent, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and one thing we should say is a lot of people say is Matt Groening the time traveler, but there are over 100 different writers, so he's not writing all of these. So it could it be the Simpsons writers, time travelers. So what do we got in the faulty voter machines, Jedi?
Faulty voter machines. That happened. When did that happen?
2008. It was season 20, episode 4. Just so you know.
Yeah, and then it happened in 2012. It's in the Treehouse of Horror 19th edition, and it was actually linked to the 2008 U.S. presidential election, where the episode. Yeah,
2012, right?
But it was linked to the 2008.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah. So they were trying to link it to that. And so in this episode, Homer tries to vote for Barack Obama, but the voting machine gives it to John McCain. But actually in 2012, a voting booth in Pennsylvania did the exact same thing with Obama, and then giving it to Mitt Romney. And this video actually went viral.
Yeah, we get a clip of the Simpsons one.
Ooh, one of those electronic voting dealies.
One vote for McCain. Thank you.
No, I want to vote for Obama.
2 votes for McCain.
Come on, it's time for a change.
3 votes for McCain.
No!
6 votes for President McCain.
Hey, I only meant one of those votes for McCain. This machine is rigged.
That's funny. So, Joe, is Pennsylvania a swing state, or is that blue or red?
Yo, Pennsylvania's been a swing state for a really long time. Yeah.
That's the only thing that kind of gets me. I'm like, that's kind of stupid. If it was in California or something, it wouldn't be a big deal. But it happened to happen in one of the states. It could go either way.
So crazy.
It's so strange they predicted it. But I do understand like the calibration on things not working sometimes. Like you'll see on a phone or something, you go to hit something on the touchpad. You know what I mean? And it hits somewhere else.
Yeah, it's funny. A couple of years ago, I know the Democrats they like to celebrate the moral victories. When Beto O'Rourke lost to Ted Cruz, there were reports of people were voting for Beto, and the machines were literally turning the vote into Ted Cruz votes. And and then nothing ever came out of that because it wasn't the Democrats stealing an election, so they're like, never mind.
The thing about this one, the prediction's like pretty good, but I do think that there is fraud when it comes to voting, but I don't think they'd show it. I think it would happen behind the scenes. You know what I mean? You wouldn't hit the button, it would hit another guy. I mean, too many people would say something.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't think it. Right. I don't think it works like that.
Yeah.
Right. You probably would be like, wait a minute, I didn't do that.
I mean, it is kind of weird that they predicted something like that would happen, though.
Yeah.
Like it happened exact.
Again, I think with all of these things, like exact, close, and then enough where, again, here's the thing about the human brain, not to get all stupid or whatever, but I read so much stupid stuff. We look for patterns and we look for coincidences. That's what our brain is drawn to. We're very different than regular animals because of that. And so it's easy to, right, too. I mean, if I give you 15, 20 instances of The Simpsons, and I just picked out the 10 best, right?
Right.
It would be hard to not be like, man, they're nailing it and something's up. Probably not.
Yeah.
But it certainly feels that way. And again, some of these are pretty sus.
Yeah, that's probably why they lasted over 32,
I would
seasons,
say so.
right?
Yeah, they definitely have their pulse on the heart of America and have for a really long time.
I know. So Jedi, tell us about the three-eyed fish.
Oh my goodness. I didn't even think this was real or could be real, but that's so crazy. I mean,
Love this.
The three-eyed fish in season 2, episode 4, back in 1990. His name is called Blinky.
Yeah.
And he's a mutated fish with 3 eyes, an orange guy, appearing in Homer's Odyssey, the first time he appeared in that episode. And Bart Simpson was I guess fishing outside in the ponds and lakes next to the nuclear power plant in Springfield. So he caught this fish at the old fishing hole, and apparently there's such a real thing as a three-eyed fish that was found by a fisherman fishing by a nuclear power plant in Argentina.
Right. It was basically the same thing. It was nuclear power plant was going into whatever, a lake or something, and the fish does have 3 eyes.
Right. And this happened in 2011.
It's kind of funny because I like how they say the Simpsons predicted. They just had an episode on something, and then just something randomly happened, and they they always have to put it together. I mean, if you think about it, not to be devil's advocate, but probably only like one thing has come true every whole season. You know what I mean? And they probably throw out thousands of things. But like we said, it is kind of weird.
But that's enough, right? That's enough to fuel the conspiracy.
Yeah.
Just one thing.
I know, exactly. So let's go to the Joe, you probably know more about this. Oh, actually, no, before the NSA spying, let's go to the GoPro. Do you have the picture of Homer Simpson with the crazy cowboy hat? So, so Homer Simpson's walking around with a cowboy hat with a camera in it. So they're kind of tying this into, this is the first GoPro. This was about 10 years before the the GoPro came out. What do you think of this one, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, again, right, I think this is one of those where, like, all right, it's a good one. It certainly predates it, but the idea of it being in a cowboy hat is hilarious.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, imagine if that's how GoPros were actually sold. They were just cowboy, the 8-gallon hat, with the camera in it. Again, I just think this is one of those where, like, sort of like the Jetsons, where there's things that people are sort of putting out there. I don't know how much of that was. That's that. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what the hat reminds me of is when in Dumb and Dumber, when they have all the money and he goes to the store and he says, just get the necessities. And he comes out, he has one of those hats. I think he has like a pinwheel. And
oh my God.
So we go to the Simpsons movie. Joe, what's up with the NSA spying? You must know all about Snowden. I'm not good at that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He's in Russia right now, right?
He is. And basically what happened was after 9/11 through the Patriot Act, what they were able to do is force phone companies to hand over the records of basically anybody they requested without a warrant. And that's a huge problem. And thankfully that was exposed because it's funny. I remember when the pandemic started, I saw a thing and it was like 85% of Americans had traveled less than 15 miles from their homes at the beginning of the pandemic. They were literally tracking us to see how far we were going from our home ping to other pings. And I remember reading that and thinking to myself, like, you don't even like, this is always on, and someone is always basically tracking where you are and where you're going. And if you're doing something you shouldn't be, someone's going to figure it out and see it. And that's scary.
But didn't we always have an idea that we were being listened to, or was it just a theory?
No, it was definitely a theory. And I think one that most people didn't think that was something the government would or could. Again, just because of laws that they wouldn't be able to do that. And we found out that was wrong.
Yeah. So how does Edward Snowden make a living now? Obviously, he's probably rich, but from what?
He wrote a book. No, I know he wrote a book.
But what does he do does he work for, what does he do? Do you know?
I don't believe he works. I don't think he does. I think he's just literally living at the embassy.
Yeah.
In like perpetual uncertainty.
And he can't come back, or
he'd be arrested if he came back.
God knows what else.
I'm surprised he hasn't killed himself yet.
No,
wink, wink. That's a joke. That's an Epstein reference. I'm surprised he hasn't killed himself yet. Come on, guys.
Yeah. Oh man, season 2 Jedi. We'll definitely get Epstein in there. And what was the big news today, Joe? The sex trafficking lady.
Giselle Maxwell was convicted.
Yeah.
Convicted, yes. Yes. And now it'll be interesting to see, of course, because she was pretty tight-lipped beforehand. Now that she's looking at a lengthy prison sentence, will she start naming names?
Oh, yeah.
Before she kills herself.
Before she kills herself. Yes.
No, but do you think that Epstein was savvy enough to put insurances out there? Because they said that he rigged his whole house. He bugged his whole house with cameras and everything. So, I mean, do you think someone has like a, insurance to expose if anyone tried to take her down or him,
Well, let's also assume maybe that, and I hate to say this is a bit of an accusation, but who's to say she didn't have him killed?
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not for nothing. I'm just saying, if someone's having somebody killed, I would look at those two as like, they seem like the type that would literally do that to people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they're willing to do the shit they were doing, what's to stop them from, whatever? Yeah. I don't know. Shady.
That's funny.
I don't like them.
So let's head over to season 23, episode 10. This is when The Simpsons predicted the Greece financial crisis in 2012, and it happened in 15. The funniest thing is look, what it says in the bottom: Europe puts Greece on eBay.
Oh my gosh!
Like the thing about The Simpsons is just what a random thing to write. I mean, someone has to have some inside information or something, or the time travelers.
Right?
Yeah, that's just, I mean, it's kind of funny that they put that. Europe puts Greece on eBay, and then 3 years later, they have this huge. What happened to the economy? Do you know exactly, Joe? Or
I don't remember specifically what caused Greece's problem. I tend to think it was a bit of mismanagement by the government. But I don't think it was anything specific, like Kurt Schilling when he like bankrupted Rhode Island. I don't think there was one specific thing where it was like, that's what did it. It was just years of, an economy sort of trying to modernize and not really specializing in anything, other than yogurt.
Yogurt.
Yeah,
Yogurt.
Yeah, I was never a Kurt Schilling fan. Well, not just because he played for the Red Sox. I just thought he was just an arrogant ass. What did he cost them? What, 99 million, and he just like walked away unscathed.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah. So that one's kind of wild. How that one's up there for me. What about you, Jedi?
Yeah, I think that's kind of wild too. I mean, how did they know the whole government was gonna just collapse?
I know. I mean, they had to pick out of all the countries. They picked that country, and that's the country it happened to. It's just kind of crazy. So I'm going to skip over number 15, Joe. Joe, I want you to tell us about the Ted Cruz one, because there's no way you're not familiar with this one.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah. Boy, oh boy.
By the way, I mean, I know I keep saying it, but check it out on YouTube so you can see all these graphics.
Ted Cruz can't ever catch a break. This poor guy. I joke when I say that. Yeah. Much like Diamond Joe Quimby in the photo here, the most corrupt politician in all of Springfield. Ted and company, when things were bad, there was a storm in Texas in the middle of this COVID crisis. And Ted and his family decided that they should go on vacation to a nice Mexican resort. And needless to say, that did not play out well.
You can't do anything if you're a politician. There's always someone watching. I mean,
he's also a particularly hated person. You know what I mean? Like there's politicians and you know, the right hates the left, you know, but there's something particularly venomous about that guy. And John Boehner, the former Republican House leader, literally said that Ted Cruz is a huge asshole and everybody there hates him. That came from one Republican, about another one. So, not well liked.
Yeah, that is kind of a funny one.
I like that. That was funny.
Yeah, so actually, that episode, who was the Simpsons guy again on that one that was going on a vacation?
Mayor Diamond Joe Quimby.
What a name.
But it's just funny they tie it to Ted Cruz just because it's two politicians. Like they didn't predict that Ted Cruz was doing it.
Right. Yeah. By the way, Diamond Joe Quimby is basically a knockoff of the Kennedys.
Oh, really?
For anybody who knows, I mean, I am Mayor Diamond Joe Quimby. Vote for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like he's Ted Kennedy, pretty much.
Right. Oh, he talks like that?
He talks like that. Yes. Yes, sir. Yeah. That's Mayor Diamond Joe.
I was thinking today how corrupt all these politicians are. And I'm like, oh, most people would probably think maybe like President Kennedy wasn't. But if you look into his background, even with the women and stuff,
it's crazy going back to
I've heard
families.
that he killed Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, you've heard that too?
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, the Kennedys, I mean, that's another episode. I mean, every one of them.
Right.
I mean, bizarre. Like, what was the one that crashed into the tree skiing? Then you get Chappaquiddick. And it's just like one of the kids died, like one of the grandkids last summer. I remember that, like she was like 20. It's just like they have a million things.
Yeah,
going on.
don't forget Michael Skakel.
Yeah, Skakel.
Joseph Kennedy Smith was a rapist.
Yeah.
Dude, the Kennedys are a disaster. Like America's royal family. No thanks.
No,
isn't there a conspiracy like they call it the Kennedy curse as well? Because everything goes wrong in their family, and like you said, all these scandals.
Sure, when you're rich, the chances of you all dying in plane crashes goes up.
Right.
Yeah, that Skakel Martha Moxley one, that was terrible. That's did he get he got retried or something? Oh, he's out.
Yeah, he got out when they retried him, which is I mean, if you know anything about the case, it was definitely him.
Right. Jedi, do you know about
it's open and shut?
Jedi, do you know about Chappaquiddick with Ted Kennedy?
No, not really, not that case.
So basically, he was probably drinking and driving, Joe, and
was it
or
as the Kennedys call it, driving?
And they pretty much went into the lake or whatever, Chappaquiddick, and he came out and she didn't. And how did they cover that up?
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
goodness.
that was a good one. I
But
can't
the
really
rea-
explain how he got away with that because, again, that was one of those where all of the evidence was so unbelievably damning.
Right. The reason why I said when people probably love the Kennedys, because you do hear stories when President Kennedy was assassinated, everyone was like crying and going crazy. Oh, there's Jedi's cuckoo clock.
I love it.
Perfect timing.
Always.
Yeah. So, all right, let's go to, this is the one that everyone goes to. When people try to debunk these, they get stuck on this one, the God particle. So this was season 10, episode 2 in 1998. So Homer Simpson was trying to be some type of inventor. So he put down some formula, and 14 years later, it ended up just about being the exact formula for the God particle, which tells you what the Higgs boson, it's like the mass of everything on Earth. And what Homer also did that episode when he was inventing things, he invented the makeup gun. Let's take a look at that.
This one's for the ladies. How many times have you gals been late for a high-powered business meeting only to realize you're not wearing makeup?
That's every woman's nightmare.
That's why I invented this revolutionary makeup gun. It's for the woman who only has 4/5 of a second to get ready. Close your eyes, Marge. And now you're ready for a night on the town.
Homer, you've got it set on whore.
I just want to throw that in there.
That was
So-
great.
So again, with the Simpsons writers, I mean, some of them are mathematicians, they're just these geniuses. So I think there was like a theory that it wasn't just like he was writing numbers down and they figured this out. There was a theory that could have been the formula for the Higgs boson, and it ended up being basically right 14 years later.
Wow, good for them.
Yeah, so that's like the one people always go to when they're talking about these. What do
But
you think
did
of
you
that one?
know? It's kind of cool.
What's that?
Did you know that the only character in The Simpsons that has 5 fingers is God? Every character has only 4 fingers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I might have heard that once before.
Yeah.
That is weird, right?
Yeah.
That is funny. So yeah, when Pat McAfee did the thing, that was the one that got him, and he's like, Matt Groening, the jig is up. We know you're a time traveler. And Joe, I bypassed the curling one. And this
Why?
was from,
This is great.
yeah, no, I bypassed it by accident. Yeah, so season 21, episode 12. This is so ridiculous. Homer and Marge are on the Olympic curling team, and they win a medal over Sweden. And then in 2018, it actually happened. I mean, they win a medal in curling, which definitely isn't really an American sport, so that's a big upset. And they also beat Sweden. It's kind of wild. That's kind of an underrated one in my book.
Yeah, again, I feel like if you, right? I mean, if Sweden's generally good at curling, I think that's where it came from originally, right? So
Yeah.
you know, again, it would be like beating the Canadians at ice hockey. Like you could, it's funny if it's them, and
Right.
it's cool if it's Russia too, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly. And one of the things I forgot to mention was back at the FIFA scandal, they also predicted that Germany would beat Brazil in the final, and they did. They just got the score wrong, but they predicted that as well.
That's
Wow.
interesting.
And one of the things I want to mention was these episodes, they write them and they send them to, I think, Korea to get all drawn up and stuff, and they get sent back 10 months later. So they had this episode that aired in January of 1992, and something in there wouldn't have made sense when they wrote the script. So I think trying to
Mattingly! I thought I told you to trim those sideburns! Go home! You're off the team for good!
Fine. Still like him better than Steinbrenner.
So Do you remember this, Joe? When
Yes,
Steinbrenner
very
was
much.
so that was a big thing, Jedi. Don Mattingly for the Yankees. George Steinbrenner kept telling him to get a haircut because his hair was too long. So that was a big thing, Joe. Remember they were selling clippings and stuff for a couple $1,000s.
Oh my goodness.
But the timing doesn't add up because that was written in probably the spring of 1991, and that was released in January 1992. So when it was sent over to Korea to be written, they must have somehow in the 10 months added that in. So there are some things where in the time that they write it to the time it's produced, like things could kind of like happen a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can kind of maybe foresee the future a little bit. But that one's kind of funny too. That's the Homer at the Bat episode. That's when they have all the Major League All-Stars. I think, is it Ken Griffey Jr. that has giantism?
Yes. Oh my God. Oh yeah, dude, that was one of my favorite episodes ever.
Jedi, so you don't watch The Simpsons at all? I mean, I don't watch it anymore, but
Early on, but not recently, no.
yeah, when I was doing some research, I was listening to some like clips and stuff, and it is really funny because it's one of the first shows where they'd have something funny happening, and then like they just have random wacky stuff in the background that you'd pick up on, and it's just like so smart.
I always loved this. I thought The Simpsons, I thought they did a nice job of having a lot of lowbrow humor, but then spiking throughout it again, talking about how smart the writers are. Just really highbrow jokes, generally underneath kind of lowbrow jokes. And if you're a smart person, you were laughing your face off at both jokes. And I always thought that was right. That was one of the things about The Simpsons that always impressed me, was like, oh man, this show, these guys are good. And that was obviously long before I knew people like Conan O'Brien. You know, all the Harvard guys were writing all these shows. I had no idea, obviously, but
I love Conan O'Brien.
Oh yeah, he's great. But it definitely goes to show, listen, if you got smart writers and you have people with science and math backgrounds, man, some of the stuff they came up with, again, I mean, right, Todd, you said it before, hundreds of things I'm sure they've predicted.
Yeah.
Not even close. You take out those handful and it's like, wow, that's crazy. Yeah. So, yeah.
And Jedi, one of the biggest things of all is the second show they created was Futurama.
Oh.
And that could almost be Matt Groening mocking us. Like we're making a future show now.
Maybe.
Yeah, and that could be like, you know what, we're time travelers. We're making a show called Futurama. And Joe, I don't know what episode it's in, but one of the episodes they predicted in 2028, Ivanka Trump going for president.
Oh.
Well, that kind of lines up. You know what I mean? That kind of lines up. That's insane. That does line up. Wow.
We'll have to remember that one. All right, so I think this was kind of a fun episode. It just, I don't know how I stand on it. Some of the things almost is too wacky to disregard it, but then there's a bunch like the FaceTime and stuff that obviously was going to happen, but I thought that was kind of fun. So I think we should wrap this up. I don't know what we got in next week, Joe, Jedi. We can talk about it, but I definitely think we get some crime in the future.
Yeah, sounds good. So, Morks, the end is here, and I am already ready to say good riddance to 2021. Bring on 2022. I can say that this past year, it was great meeting Joe, Todd, Seamus, and creating this, to Conspiracies and Beyond. And thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We appreciate you so much.